Good evening, welcome to Sharmark, and I am your host Sharmark. And today I feel amazing. I am amazing because I think we're going to have a very interesting show. They just have one problem. My guest is fabulous, and then she actually took a little bit away from me because I thought I was all snatch. And then she's actually wearing similar colors, so I have a problem with that. But we'll dive into this later. I will let my guest introduce herself because I'm excited. On Sharmark, we're just bringing good information, good vibes, and we're just bringing interesting things to your home that I think will be very informative to you and your family. Good evening.
Good evening, Sharmark. Thank you
Tell
for
us your
having me.
name.
Absolutely. So my name is Vanya Reid-Hinkson.
Vanya what?
Reid-Hinkson.
Oh wow, that's a powerful name.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
Thank
I like
you so
the middle
much.
name. It's what?
Reid.
Oh,
R-E-I-D.
beautiful,
Thank
nice,
you.
yes. So, Miss
Thank you.
Reid or Miss
Yes.
Hinkson, one of the reasons I really wanted you to come on the show, I think you involved in NCF. Please tell us your position.
So I am the executive director of the NCF.
Oh wow, okay. So what does NCF stands for?
So this is the National Community Foundation. And as you may know, or hopefully you may know, it is one of the core organizations with a mandate to support the most vulnerable of us in St. Lucia.
Wow. And would you like to share with us how many years NCF has been around in St. Lucia?
Absolutely. So we're actually in our 22nd year.
Wow,
So quite
that's
some
a
time.
long time.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And I know you maybe just came on board, but I'm sure you would have that information. Who was the persons behind this idea? We know we're looking at most vulnerable persons, but who was the brainchild behind that idea?
Yeah, good question. So actually the NCF was the brainchild of the NIC, National Insurance Corporation.
Interesting.
And so what happened is that as the NIC began to grow, it started to recognize that the needs of the people was that beyond its own mandate. And so it thought it necessary to explore, with the help of Minister Emma Hippolyte and other key players at the time, to explore alternatives to support the most vulnerable in terms of their access to resources and to key institutional care. So we're talking about medical assistance, housing, etc. And so in line with a lot of the data that was coming out at the time, indicating quality of life, and again, key access to resources, the NCF was born. And so we are considered a subsidiary of the NIC, but we are independent, in nature.
Okay, cool.
And so, in 2002, it was formalized and this institution became to be.
Nice. But I must say, I'm very happy that that actually they sign you up to do what you're doing now, because most times when you hear positions like that, it's always more mature persons, and I think the young people have the same ability as a mature person. So congratulations. And I think so far I've been around and I'm quite impressed. In case you have somebody that's most vulnerable, can they just walk into your office, or if somebody recommend them, how does the process start?
So absolutely. So we do have applications online and a website, so folks can access, exactly what we offer in terms of services. And we do have a thriving social media page at St. Lucia National Community Foundation. But absolutely, folks can walk in. They will be met by a coordinator who will, inquire with them what exactly their needs are. And these conversations tend to be very sensitive. I mean, people are coming to us at really crucial points in their lives, seeking medical assistance, housing, maybe access to resources for disability awareness, elderly care. So we try to make the space as comfortable as possible, as private as possible. And through conversation and application is completed, we assist however, necessary. And then this is processed and submitted rather to a board. And a committee, depending on the focus area.
Do you have a consultation room, since sometimes it's so private?
A consultation room, not quite, and this really goes back to the resources that we as an institution have, which in itself is very limited. So it is in the works to be created. But right now we use, whether it's my office or a
conference
designated
room.
space, a conference room, we do whatever we have to do depending on the level of sensitivity to create that environment.
Wonderful. So in case somebody comes into you and they have a situation and you help them, the organization help them, do you all follow up 6 months later? Do you all follow up to see if there's any progress, or you just help them and you forget them? What is it?
No. So we absolutely follow up. You see, for us, things change so quickly in people's lives. So somebody may apply for assistance within our health focus area. By the time we get the funding and it's submitted, something has happened. At worst they may pass away, or they may no longer need it because they were able to access funding somewhere else. So it's really important from the institutional perspective to do the follow-up, but also to ensure that we continue the relationship. I mean, we have folks who come back to us, year after year because the need is there. So we absolutely, incorporate follow-up as a core aspect of what we do.
So what is one of the main areas? How do you all generate funds? Because it sounds like you have a lot on your plate. So how do you generate funds to keep all that good work going?
Yes. So, and I'm sure folks may be somewhat familiar with the National Telethon. And historically, this has been and still is our biggest, flagship fundraising event. And we haven't had one since 2019. But we're hoping to really put things into gear and have one actually in September. In September.
Okay, cool.
But in addition to that, we try to create fundraising activities, events, where we could generate money, have some strong community engagement, and really understand the growing needs of the population at the same time.
So is it if somebody want to volunteer their time and stuff like that, how do they come on board to do that?
So we on our social media pages have volunteer, documents where we ask specific questions about your expertise, your interests. But if folks come into our office, if they call, they can absolutely, be connected, and we welcome, volunteers. It really is the backbone of what we do. So the more volunteers, the better. We're actually trying to spearhead a volunteer program which will really be focused on the community, going out, partnering with local leaders and creating avenues to actually meet the people and create, the solutions that we think we can address. So in time, hopefully people will see that.
And we'll be right back. Welcome back, and with me here I have Miss Hinkson from the National Committee Foundation. Miss Hinkson, I think whilst we was in commercial, this question popped. In case you have a sponsor who wants to sponsor but don't want to be mentioned, they just want to be a silent sponsor and just want to do a good deed, is that possible?
Absolutely, of course.
Okay.
So we are hoping to partner with a money wire transfer business, which would allow anybody, business, individual, to pledge, and contribute whatever they would like to. Of course, we want to know who's supporting us, but we understand anonymity is somebody's right. So we absolutely respect that. And
So I remember back in the days, I remember growing up, when they saw at the national team, it used to be at Gaty, and they saw about the bouncing castle. So it was almost like a family affair where everything come together. But I realize now that you all do it on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
Absolutely. And I myself, growing up, the National Telethon is something that I've enjoyed as a teenager myself. But what we have found is that the cost of having it outdoors it is so big that when we vet and we look at where we could create some savings, it really is at the fore. and so we've had to make it in studio. But we're hoping to make it a little bit interesting, hybrid. So we'd have some live performances, like we've always had, some pre-recording, feature a few organizations who've sponsored and pledged. And so we're hoping that it would be an interesting watch anyway for the viewer.
Yeah. So if you had to tell anybody something to encourage them to pledge, what now is the opportunity?
Right, right. I would say, let us just keep in mind that we do not know where we will be today or tomorrow.
My sister, touch me.
We do not know.
Yes.
And so it is imperative that we contribute to the safety nets.
You don't wait for you to be in the situation to want, because
Absolutely.
the contribution you might make today
might
very
help
well you, somebody
tomorrow.
in your family tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think if we come together as ST.LUCIA, because the fact that when you look at it, the brainchild behind it is NIC, all of that is ours as ST.LUCIA.
Absolutely.
So here's a space, as small as it is, because I think most times when people hear a contribution, they think it's something big.
And it really
can be
isn't.
$5, it makes a difference.
It could literally be your time.
Because growing up, I always believe small money make big money.
Absolutely.
So I think whatever you can contribute to the cause, it will go a long way.
It will, absolutely will. I mean, we're talking about folks who have limited resources in terms of their access, folks who have tried, accessing formal chains, who maybe cannot access the paperwork that they need to qualify. I mean, the reasons that people come to us, they vary. And we really don't know, again, where we will be tomorrow. So we really do have to consider, the next person, because in so doing, we consider ourselves.
Okay. So since you have a show coming up, you said the 29th.
29th.
So if an artist or somebody who's singing wants to contribute to the activity, is there a number they can call? What they should do? What is the procedure?
So we actually have in my opinion, a lovely lineup of artists for the evening. But if anybody feels inclined to participate, they can reach us at 453-6661. This is our main number. They could also contact us at stluciancf@gmail.com. They could come into our offices on High Street. We would be so happy to coordinate and let it happen.
I like that, and I think it's a space where we all as ST.LUCIANs can come together.
Absolutely.
How long does that activity run for?
So we're looking at about 6 hours.
6 hours? Oh,
6 hours. It should be streaming on all platforms.
Oh, nice.
But we will be doing it through NTN. So I really want to shout out, NTN for the collaboration. I also want to shout out MC Sounds, who'll be working closely with us.
Nice.
So
who's your master of ceremony for the event?
So we're looking at Huma Demac.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this young lady is very fluent.
Fantastic. But we'll have an interesting take on things. We'll have a live lounge. A live lounge with a few people who I think it will just be interesting to have it be conversational, interview a few sponsors if we can. So,
a few of the artists.
A few of the artists,
Do you
absolutely.
have a patois component to it? Because in case you have a viewer who's viewing at the time and they want to make a contribution and there's a language barrier because they don't speak English.
For sure. We're definitely going to have a host who will be doing the patois part of things.
Oh, nice.
And we're hoping also that, actually we're going to have Chekapesh with us.
Oh, nice.
So, Cooks, who's always been a part of it, he will very much be there. We will get to see them in action. So that will be specific to our patois.
Oh, they're going to be highlighted on the day. Okay,
yes,
nice. And they have a big following.
They do have a big following.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we have kept in mind our patois speaking, population, and we really want to keep
ST.LUCIA, in case you're viewing us right now, in the bottom of the screen, we'll have the account number in case you want to pledge before the event, after the event. I think it's important that we as ST.LUCIANs, we make a difference, because as I said, it's ours. Every day you go to bed, something happened. You go on Facebook, it's a kind of scary now. There's always a story unfolding. And I think sometimes the way we were born, that's not the way we die. Something always happens. So if you can make a difference, make a difference. Just walk to the bank, send somebody and make the donation, because can you imagine if every ST.LUCIAN just give $1, at least $1, it makes a difference.
It really does.
Yeah, because it's almost like there's some situations you see somebody working all the time, but then you see and they have a GoFundMe, and it's like, huh?
Listen, it happens to the best of us.
Yes, and you just don't even know.
You don't know.
I think the funny thing about it, I say sometimes, how do the medical institution know exactly how much money you have in your account. You go for a treatment and it's like, okay, if I have $5, they say the treatment is $5, but like, that's my life savings, you know? So sometimes if you can make a difference, we should make a difference.
We really should. We really should.
And I think we should make a difference. I mean, like, we need to start pledging where we can crash the internet. I think so NCF can come out and say, well, we did it, you know? So normally for something like that, do you have like a, how you say it, a target or something like that?
We do, of course. You know, we definitely have a target. So we're looking at $200,000 this year.
That's not bad at all.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all. For the amount of stuff you're doing,
exactly.
I think it's not bad, because I think, and then the fact that you have to disburse this money for so many different people. Yes. What was back to school like for you all this year?
It was so exciting. So we have a scholarship program, and this is our biggest, you know, program at the NCF, and so we fund 200 kids for 5 years, you know, throughout secondary school. So seeing, you know, first of all, selecting the kids and then seeing them get their books, uniforms, and seeing them, you know, now go to their secondary schools was quite exciting for us.
We'll be right back, and when we get back, we'll get more information on NCF in terms of the school program. Welcome back. Joining me today on Sharmark is Ms. Hinkson from the National Community Foundation. Ms. Hinkson, before we went into commercial, we were speaking on the school in terms of that. So in case, let's say you all gave me a donation and I did well in secondary school, would I automatically get assistance in terms of going to college or university and stuff like that?
So,
or you would...
Interesting question. So our mandate, as it stands right now, supports primarily secondary school students. And so kids are selected in part by merit, but also for sure need, right? Once these kids are successful in their secondary school journey, and if they are looking for funding, we assist them in doing so. And we've had a couple students actually get funding through our Governor General Emeritus, Dame Louise. She's had a fund with us. You know, so there are avenues and platforms for us to create the opportunities for our students, even beyond, you know, our own mandate. But primarily, we focus on secondary school kids.
Okay, nice. That's interesting. I think that it looks like you'll have a lot of work now. Sometimes you might think you're just sitting in the office and you
it's
have...
such a small team.
Yes. So do you have to do audits and stuff like that?
Of
because
course.
it's to give an account of how the monies are being spent?
Absolutely. You know, like any other institution, we are subject to, you know, yearly auditing, you know, and so we really want to ensure that we can remain transparent in our accounts.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes,
I mean, this is the people's institution.
I think as a sponsor too, when you giving so much money to an institution like that, you'd want to have the audits and to see it. There's some form of transparency.
And I understand people have some, you know, hesitancy with giving because we know
in the past, you know,
in the past.
And Peter, I don't think Peter always should pay for Paul.
For sure.
You do your investigations.
For sure.
And I think there's some genuine charities out there.
Exactly.
And as we said earlier on, you do not know what would happen to you or somebody.
You don't.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Yeah. But Miss Hinkson, sorry. I think you have so much names, Maggie. I don't know which one to call you. Before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to tell St. Lucians, you know, in terms of the event you have coming up and in terms of NCF as a body?
Absolutely. I want to encourage, you know, everybody to pledge to join us on Sunday, September 29th. Tune in. You will be able to access a payment system easily from your home. Please donate, you know, support. If you have questions about the work that we do, come visit, you know, volunteer a day, a week, whatever it is. But, you know, really make it your you know, an initiative of yours to understand the work that we do and see how you could support, because it really is needed.
But very important question. If somebody calls to pledge, I call on the day and I say I'm calling to pledge $500. how do you ensure that person pays the $500?
And so this is actually why we really wanted to get the wire transfer platform, because one of the hardest parts of this, of our national telethon is the aftermath, when we try to then contact folks who have made the intention to pledge, and the conversion of actually pledging. So typically what we would have done is, call folks, remind them, ask them, give them the information we need, see how we could facilitate the process, whether they need help, getting to the banks or accessing another platform, so that has actually been a bit difficult in the past. We're hoping to, not have that challenge.
But I think ST.LUCIA or whoever is looking at the program, I don't think it should be difficult, because if you're pledging, pledge from the heart. If you're going to dial that number, it should be from the heart.
Agreed.
And make the transition easier, because it's almost like you're giving the NCF, turn into a debt collector, trying to chase the cash. I mean, like, it's almost like that makes it a little more difficult,
does.
And
It
I
really
think it's
does.
kind of not a good thing to say you pledge, unless you have an emergency, and to don't do it, because I think, as we said, it's very important, The organization belongs to St. Lucians. I mean, like, I think we have a lot of recipients out there which have benefited from NCF for 22 years. I mean, like, that's a long time, And I think the organization must be feel good to see that you must have some success stories out there.
I mean, we have past recipients in every sector you could think of.
Wow.
Doctors, lawyers, professionals, educators. It's just amazing to see, them come back to the office and say, hey, that was our student,
And it's the sad thing. I think if you need help, there's no reason to be shy. A lot of people think that helping is for poor people. Sometimes it's just that the situation you're going through is beyond your control.
Absolutely.
And you shouldn't have any shame. I think there are parents that might deprive their children of getting help, because they say, it's not about of lashawite. You cannot deprive your child of an education because you don't want to get help from the NCF, from any organization.
Absolutely.
I think you should have an open mind, an open heart, and then get the help needed, because it's going to make a difference in our society some way, somehow.
It is. And we all need help at some point.
My
You know
sister,
what
I
I
need
mean?
help right now. You look me up. I need help. I always need help. Because sometimes people see you there, and especially if they want to buy you a gift, they're like, oh, that's Sharmark. But no, you need help.
We all
you maybe need help
at
some way,
point.
somehow.
Absolutely.
And I need help.
Absolutely.
I need help. I don't like to wash dishes. Come and wash it for me. I need help. But Ms. Hinkson, I am so impressed. It was very informative.
Thank you.
I hope that Solutions come out on the 29th.
29th.
Yes. So basically, we're going to have music, drama. Can you give us some of the performances that is the lineup?
So we're really excited, particularly about our youth performances.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna have the combined choir. We're gonna
nice.
have students from Corinth Secondary School, from Hess.
Nice.
It's really, really exciting. But in addition to that, we have our core artists. So folks who have time and time again answered the call to perform and to be a part of. So
Nice.
folks like T.C. Brown,
Yes.
like Linda Chocolate Berthier,
Yes.
Claudia Edwards, right?
Yes,
Carlton
yes,
Roberts. And then, of course, we have our soca, artists, the
Yes, yeah.
Sedales, the Arthur Allen Arthurs. So,
And that's very good for the artists. It's
Oh,
almost like they
yeah.
planted back a seed into society.
Absolutely.
That's very good.
I mean,
yeah.
they are role models, you
Yes,
know.
you are role
So
models,
it's,
yeah.
their presence matter, and we recognize that.
And I think if God give you a talent, you can give back to society
For
some
sure,
way,
for
somehow,
sure,
you
for
know?
sure.
Yeah, I'm happy. So that means it sounds like you have a very packed show and there's a lot happening.
Yes.
So, but where do you see the NCF in the next 5 years? What would you like to happen?
Good question, man. I have, so many dreams for the organization, but I really want to see us, partnering more with organizations.
I have a dream for you,
What's that?
They need
What's
to
that?
give you your own building in town.
Oh, okay. Let's put it in the universe.
Yes,
Let's put it in the universe.
a big building right there.
I
Yes.
love that.
No, seriously,
that.
I think, the organization has standing ground. It has stand by the name, and I think it deserves it. I think that's something maybe partners or the government, whoever, should look into. You know, because that
Agreed.
space up there is a bit tight,
It
and
is
then
a bit
you need more
tight, you know.
transparency for people to see what's happening, you know.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, you
Okay.
know.
So is there anything you would like to say before we wrap
Yeah,
up?
I really want to thank you actually for
Ah, you're
extending the
welcome. Yes.
invitation.
The only problem I have, Diva, you stole
No,
my
you
color
stole my
today.
outfit. You stole mine.
But Alicia, thank you so much. You had a beautiful guest meeting, you had a lot of energy.
Thank
I love
you.
it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you for viewing Sharmark. And I was here. Don't I look snatch?